Hello, lovely vintage enthusiasts, and welcome back to the Deco Diva channel. I'm Cora, and today we're diving into one of my favorite topics, eclectic vintage decor. If you're someone who loves mixing eras and styles to create a truly unique, collected home, you're in the right place. Before we jump in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and leave me a comment down below sharing your thoughts or any vintage treasures you've mixed together in your own home. Now, let's get started. Eclectic vintage decor is all about blending pieces from different time periods and styles to create a cohesive, one-of-a-kind look. Think of it as curating your own personal museum, where items from different decades tell a story. By mixing vintage finds, you can evoke different moods and energy throughout your space. The key is balancing contrasting elements so they feel like they belong together. Before you begin mixing different eras, it's essential to figure out what type of eclectic vibe you're drawn to. Are you into mid-century modern mixed with Victorian elegance? Or maybe you love pairing bohemian pieces with industrial charm? Once you identify a general aesthetic, it'll be easier to find vintage pieces that fit within that mood. One of the most exciting things about eclectic vintage decor is the ability to mix furniture from various time periods. You might pair a 1950s Danish modern chair with a 1920s Art Deco side table, or a 1970s velvet sofa with a rustic antique coffee table. The trick is balancing the materials, colors, and forms so that they create a seamless blend, rather than feeling disjointed. Color plays a major role in making eclectic vintage decor work. A carefully chosen color palette can help unite diverse pieces and make them feel harmonious. For instance, a neutral base color like white, beige, or gray can act as a backdrop, while pops of vintage-inspired colors, like mustard yellow, teal, or burgundy, can tie the room together. Texture is your friend when creating an eclectic vintage vibe. Mixing fabrics like velvet, linen, leather, and wool will add layers of depth and richness to your space. Think about adding a plush velvet throw on a mid-century modern couch, or draping a macrame wall hanging over a rustic wooden console table. These subtle textural contrasts are what make eclectic decor so interesting. Vintage lighting can completely transform the atmosphere of your home. Whether it's a 1930s chandelier, a 1960s pendant light, or a quirky 1980s neon sign, lighting adds personality to your space. The key to mixing lighting styles is to consider both function and aesthetics. Choose pieces that illuminate your space while also contributing to your unique look. Incorporating modern elements with vintage pieces creates a fresh, updated take on eclectic decor. A sleek contemporary coffee table can pair beautifully with a worn antique armchair. The contrast between old and new adds an unexpected twist that makes the room feel both timeless and contemporary. Art is the soul of eclectic decor, and vintage artwork or mirrors can set the tone of your room. Mixing antique frames with modern artwork or placing a vintage mirror above a contemporary console can blend eras effortlessly. Don't be afraid to mix styles. An impressionist painting can look stunning next to a 1980s pop art print. A great way to add charm and personality to your eclectic space is by creating a curated collection. This could be anything from vintage books to ceramic figurines, antique cameras, or even a collection of vintage postcards. When displayed thoughtfully, these items will give your home a sense of history and character, as though they've been gathered over time. Vintage textiles, such as Persian rugs, embroidered cushions, and quilts, are perfect for grounding an eclectic space. A vintage rug can tie together disparate furniture pieces, while vintage pillows can soften modern furniture. Don't be afraid to layer different textiles to create a cozy, inviting atmosphere. One of the joys of collecting vintage items is their imperfections, whether it's a chipped teacup, a scratched wood surface, or a slightly faded fabric. These flaws add character and tell a story. Embrace these quirks as part of the charm of eclectic vintage decor. After all, it's the imperfections that make your home feel truly lived in and unique. Even in the kitchen, you can create an eclectic vintage vibe. Think about adding vintage glassware, retro appliances, or an antique wooden pantry cabinet to blend seamlessly with modern cooking tools. A set of colorful Pyrex bowls or a vintage tea kettle on the counter can make the space feel nostalgic and warm. When it comes to walls, mixing textures can be just as fun as mixing furniture. Vintage wallpaper, exposed brick, and reclaimed wood panels can all coexist in one room. Combine a bold, floral wallpaper from the 1970s with a modern gallery wall of framed vintage photos, or pair a mid-century modern sofa with a wall of reclaimed wood shelves. Plants bring life to any space, and vintage planters can give your greenery a unique, retro feel. Think of mid-century modern ceramic pots, quirky 1960s macrame hangers, or even Victorian-era glass terrariums. Plants not only brighten up your decor, but they also bring in natural textures that complement vintage pieces. Sometimes, a vintage item might need a little creativity to fit into your space. Don't be afraid to repurpose old furniture or decor into something new. For example, an antique door can be transformed into a stunning headboard, or a vintage suitcase can become a chic storage piece. Repurposing is a great way to give new life to old treasures. Thank you so much for joining me today in exploring the beauty of eclectic vintage decor. I hope you feel inspired to mix and match different eras and styles to create a home that truly reflects your unique personality. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to subscribe to Deco Diva, like the video, and leave a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and see how you mix vintage styles in your own home. Until next time, happy decorating!